lot of good conversations were had this week with a lot of councillors. A lot of people here did contact their councillors and had coffees with them and phone calls with them. Craig had phone calls and lots of other people here, and they did listen. So the councillors actually this week have been the ones I spoke to were very respectful and listened.
Yeah, it was at a point there where it seemed like it was going to get up.
Well, I think it would have, except, anybody that's watched it will be able to see. I don't really want to make a comment on that because I know how
We'll let the dust settle for that one.
We'll have to let the dust settle, exactly. It was a bit of a surprise, a bit of a curveball, and it certainly was going our way up until then.
Absolutely was.
So, very disappointing.
It's a learning lesson, perhaps. We can see how these councils behave, right? So we can be.
Yes, there was a lot of emotion for everybody in the gallery as well, and I think a lot of emotion for the Councillor Pizzey who had put the motion up. So yeah, just very disappointing outcome. But the good side of it is that good conversations have been had. And I would just like to say that a lot of us did actually make sure our councillors knew that we had actually been trying hard for the last 4.5 years, and we weren't being listened to. So
there was a lot of councillors there in their speeches actually advocating for they wanted something.
Correct, because we've been sort of having chats with them and basically saying we're at the end of our tether. For 4.5 years we're locked out, we're given copy-paste like answers, we're being smeared, we're being called names. In one instance, and I sent an email to all of them explaining the situation, where one girl took a letter to her local MP and they actually locked the door to bar her entry and then called the AFP.
Wow.
Australian Federal Police turned up to investigate what was going on and actually ended up helping her and got entry and made sure the letter got logged. That was in some of the work that we do. So, it's not for lack of trying.
Yeah.
And that's why we're here appealing to our local councillors. Look, there were a lot of good conversations and a lot of our councillors did listen, I will say that, and we had some really good conversations.
So it's a step in the right direction.
Step in the right direction and planted some seeds. There was some stuff gone down in there that was a curveball we weren't expecting. Yeah, absolutely. Very disappointing.
But good job anyway.
Thank you.
And talking to our federal members of parliament, and our state and federal members of parliament are flat out not listening. They have not been listening for years, and people are getting exasperated. And as a result, we turn to the only people who are left, and that is our local government areas, our LGAs.
It's almost you've got the mechanism there to go and ask questions, and you don't with the state and federal.
Ultimately, what was raised there was they didn't want it to become the standard forum for people to come through LGAs to raise these issues. But we're in an exceptional precedent at the moment whereby state and federal Labor governments committed so many crimes during that period, and so many businesses also broke laws during that period, that they're trying to cover up those crimes, and they will not allow a Royal Commission to be heard because they do not want those truths to be heard. It will be catastrophic for their party, so they're trying to bury it. So the members, all of the residents across Australia and in this electorate, we come to our local governments as literally the last resort to hear, to be heard. An example of this was when Mark Butler, residents across Australia, raised, sent letters and petitions to Mark Butler to not sign the international health regulations. My understanding is that he received a petition which had 10% of the Australian voting population on it, and he still said, I don't care about what the people of Australia want, we just got to run our own agenda. And unfortunately that's what we're seeing in state and Liberal government, and we thus turn to local government as our last backstop.
Keep fighting.
Yeah.
job.
I just wanted to say, look, it was a very disappointing day. There was a lack of democracy. We were expecting to see that today. Like it's been said by others, there was a chance for us to actually bring forward an important interest for the people to this council, and then for them to take some kind of action. But because of politics higher up in the chain, and because of their attitudes in there at the moment, they didn't give us that opportunity to express ourselves and give us that the democratic outcome that we wanted. And as it's already been said, we've approached federal, we've approached state, we've approached politicians all across the country in the same way, and not one state, not one of the parties has come through with anything that could be given as a democratic action based on the people's voice. None of them. So to me, there is no democracy left in Australia at this point in time.
Thanks, Tim.
Thank you.